NBA fans, welcome back. Let's talk Lakers Suns. Actually, I want to say how incredible that game was, the Lakers versus the Warriors. LeBron's three. That's awesome. I love watching LeBron be LeBron and do LeBron things. So I'm here for that. Let's talk Lakers Suns. Um, I want to start off by saying, is the number two seed in the Western Conference an underdog? I get seedings, I get home court advantage, I get all that, but are the Suns an underdog in this matchup? I think they very may well be. Wow, that's tough to say. I haven't seen many people pick the Suns in this 7-game series, and it's understandable. I think the Lakers are the best 7 seed I've ever seen in my life. I mean, let's talk about the Lakers, I guess. They have LeBron James and Anthony Davis and LeBron James, and they have LeBron James, and their best player on their team is LeBron James. And a team who has LeBron James, I will never pick against in the playoffs. I will never. I can't. I can't do it. I literally cannot pick against that man. LeBron James showed in the play-in game why he is so special, still at the ripe old age of 36 years old. I think he's the greatest player of all time. I think he's one of the greatest playoff performers of all time, and he's still doing it. This Lakers team is built around LeBron, and the thing is that the team isn't very deep per se, but I think they have good enough depth. Anthony Davis too, and the only knock I have against this team is they haven't played together all year. None of them. No one has been healthy at the same time, and now they're kind of rushing everyone back, and who knows how healthy AD really is. Clearly, LeBron's not 100%. I think both of those guys made it pretty obvious in the first half against the Warriors that they're not healthy. They're not healthy, and it's crazy that they still pulled off that win because of how bad they played in the first half. I think it was AD and LeBron combined for less than 15% from the field in the first half. That's really bad. That's really, really bad. I mean, they stepped it up in the second half comparatively, and LeBron hit a game winner, but I don't know how many games you can really rely on something like that to occur. I think this Lakers team is good, but I think they made some mistakes in the offseason. I think trusting Montrezl Harrell, trusting Andre Drummond, trusting Marc Gasol over that duo of JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard wasn't the best move. Montrezl Harrell's a very offensive-minded player, and I think he's going to be decent enough in some series. But as a playoff performer, I don't love Montrezl Harrell. I think he's a matchup nightmare at times for the Lakers. Marc Gasol he runs a 10-second 40, so I don't know how much I can trust that dude in the playoffs, but he is an elite facilitator at his position. He is an elite IQ, and he shoots the ball, and he can stretch the floor out. So I like Marc Gasol. I don't want to say that I don't like him. And Andre Drummond is, I don't even know, man. I think he's one of the most overrated players in the league. Time will tell what Andre Drummond has to do in the playoffs. I like THT. I like Taylor Horton-Tucker. I think the fact that he can play that backup point guard role was actually pretty impressive for the Lakers because I think losing Rondo, it kind of hurt them. It really did kind of hurt them because I don't know how much I trust Kuzma as the number 3 option. But when it comes to this matchup, I think they're going to struggle covering or guarding, I should say, the pick and roll of Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton. I say that because I don't really see them having an elite defender as a guard. I think Alex Caruso is a great defender. I really do, but I don't know how much I see him on the court all the time. I mean, maybe strictly for his defensive ability, but Dennis Schroeder is not a good defender, and he's not going to be able to guard that pick and roll with Chris Paul. So I think Chris Paul is going to live as a mid-range scorer in this series if he wants to, if he really wants to. The battle of the banana boat boys. That's a lot of B's. LeBron versus Chris Paul. And I just think that some of their strengths are really strong. The fact that Anthony Davis is significantly better than DeAndre Ayton, and DeAndre Ayton's lack of post-defense ability is just going to be so evident in this series that I think Anthony Davis, if healthy, he can really put up 30 points a night on relative ease. The Suns, I love the idea of Chris Paul, and I think Chris Paul and Devin Booker kind of have mismatches in favor of Phoenix in this series, which is going to be really good. They have great guard play, and I think Chris Paul is going to have a pretty easy time maneuvering his way in throughout the paint on his own. But do we trust Chris Paul in the playoffs? Do we trust Devin Booker, who's never been there in the playoffs? And I don't trust DeAndre Ayton. I think DeAndre Ayton's a great player, but he's going to be the X factor of this series. And do we trust DeAndre Ayton to be that X factor? His post defense is so bad that it's just going to get picked apart against Anthony Davis, against Andre Drummond, even maybe, against other guys like that. And I don't know really how much I trust Ayton in the defensive interior. I think that's going to be the result that kills the Suns at the end of the day. I just don't know how much I really trust the Suns team. I think the Suns are the deeper team, without a doubt. I think the Suns might have the best bench in the NBA, one of them. I think defensively, this team is very, very good. I think Mikal Bridges can probably put up a pretty decent time against LeBron. I mean, as good as anybody can guard LeBron, right? But I really think this Suns team is super good. They're just not ready. They're inexperienced. They haven't been here. And to go up against a team that just won the championship, I have a hard time seeing the Suns win this series. I have the Lakers in 6. Peace out.